Hi guys, I just thought I'd run you through a before and after here of a student of mine who I've not probably seen for probably 5 years or so, since he was a young junior. This is Sam. He's about 19 now, and he's off a 4 handicap these days. Sam came to me with complaints of hitting some shots fat. I don't think he was hitting it particularly wild, but he was just hitting it a bit heavy. Struggling to get some compression. So just if I run him up to the top here, and then start to work down, you can just start to see where Sam's problems start to occur as he's pulling the club down here into impact. This club face, as it's approaching the ball here, is pretty open. You can see how shiny this is here, reflecting off the sunlight and my camera, especially if I put it towards the right foot here. It's particularly open, and what that means Sam has to do is he has to find a way to close this club face before he gets through to the ball, and he'll do that a couple of ways. One of them is he will start to release the lag and start to release the angles in his wrists. He'll also try to flip the club round for impact there to try and square it, and the major problem with flipping is it's quite a timed release, and when you release the club early and you're swinging it past your hands, it can bring in probable causes or probable reasons why you could hit the floor first. You can see the club swings past the left forearm too early, that bottoms out the club, and it can bring you into contact of hitting the ground. Obviously, in looking for some compression and some forward lean, one of the other ways that a player will get around this is he will slide into the ball, and you can tell a player is slid when the left hip joint here is pretty much dead over the ankle joint. And if I run this backwards and forwards, you can see the left leg is pretty much not really doing anything through the hitting area. That also indicates that there's probably a bit too much weight on there. Again, 4 handicapper, so the shots are not going to be horrifically bad, just struggling with a bit heavy and some timing issues. So let's just show you what we did with Sam. So on the right hand side here, this was a week later, and if I just run this back up to the top of the swing, I'm just going to get Sam right at the top here, and I'm just going to highlight his club face here. I'm just going to run that backwards and forwards just so you can see through the tree line there. And this one on the right, we'll just do the same, just run it up to the top. And the way I teach most of my players with this type of problem is to try and get them to get the club face to face the sky a little bit more. Like I say, this is a week later, and I ran through with Sam how we were going to do this. And if the club face is facing the sky, I believe that it's a much squarer position, than is commonly taught at the moment in a majority of places. It's a trend that you're now starting to see at the top of the game as well on the PGA Tour, for example. And if the club face is in this position here, it simply means that when the player pulls down, they have less twisting to do with the forearms. The left forearm has to supinate less, and the right forearm has to pronate less. You simply have to twist less on the way down to square the club face, and it's a position that I think the average population in golf should be playing from. So as we pull Sam down here, you can see the difference in just a week. If I just pause, it's just at his right foot here. Again, we'll just highlight this club face. There it is. Just run it backwards and forward, and we'll just pull him down on the right hand side here, just into the same position. And you can see already that this club face is a lot more down. If you look at the 2 pictures there, you can see it's a lot less shiny on the camera, and this means that it is much squarer. And if it's squarer, it means that the angle in the wrists and the forearms can be held a little bit longer, and Sam can drive through the ball and release this club a little bit later because he's not having to try and flip it round to shut the face. And you know, such a low handicap within a week, it's a big change and a big difference. Obviously the slide will still be in there, we've not done any work on that, but in a week I think he's done a pretty good job.